Hi, welcome to Tom's Tool Room. My name's Tom, and today I thought I'd make a little video about my mill. I have an Excello Model 602. There is hardly anything on the internet about the Excello, and I think they're probably, I think personally, it's the finest vertical mill ever made. I've run Bridgeports, I've run Cincinnati's, I've even run a Clausine, and I've run an Inco mill, and by far, in my opinion, the Excello is the best. The mills were made in Canada, London, Ontario, Canada, and I believe they were made until 1985. They made two different versions of them. They made the early version, and they also made a late version. This one here happens to be the late version. It was the heaviest of the two. The early version, I believe, weighed in around 2,800 or 2,900 pounds, and this one here weighs probably between 3,000 and 3,100. And it is built just a little heavier as far as the construction of it around the head and everything else as the compared to the early version. In our shop, which I grew up in and all that, we had two of these, and I ran one for I ran one 20 years probably. The first 5 years, you know, not very much, but the last 15 years of that time frame, I ran one pretty much every day, and I just love them, and I'll give you guys a little bit closer look. Okay, this is the Excello. Came with 3 different size tables. It came with a 36, it also came with a 42, or it came with a 48, and this mill here has a 48-inch table, so it is the largest of the Excellos. And it's pretty darn big. You got to get way far away from it to see it in the camera here. So this one also has a power feed unit on for the longitudinal table, or the x-axis here, and it was broke when I got it, and in fact I'm thinking about taking it off. I'm not a power feed guy. I was never used to power feed, and I don't like how it dampens the feel of the handle. So whenever I get time, I will probably take it off. There's probably nothing wrong with the motor or anything else. It's just somebody has ripped the guts out of the input cord and to the power cord, which is completely missing. So, but this one does have it. I noticed that a lot of the late model Excellos do have power feed, so evidently most of them came with power feed. So let's see if we can get the shot here. The Excello has a 16-inch cross feed, so we have 16 inches of movement in here on the cross feed table. It has a 37-inch range on the x-axis. It also is 18 inches from the tip of the spindle all the way to the top of the table when the knee is all the way down, 18.5 inches. The ram travel, so the ram travel here on the machine is 16 inches, which gives you 20, I believe it's 24.5 inches from here to the center of the table. So it has a really deep throat on it. Of course, the head nods forward and backward 45 degrees, and it is rated in the book to tilt 90 degrees each way. And then of course we have the turret. which will spin a full 360 degrees if you would ever need to do that. Now, I don't have three-phase power, and we got ourselves a roto phase to run it with. It is quite noisy. The machine is very quiet and very smooth, but the rotophase makes it hard to the rotophase makes it difficult to hear much. So in most of my machining videos, we won't that's one of the reasons I do some voiceover, is because of the noise that the rotophase makes. So I got my 110 set up here to run lights, and also run my DROs, and these DROs are ancient. I wouldn't even be able to guess what year they are, but they do work good, and they even have an offset that you can program into it. So here's the scale for the tilt, and the late model, which is the one this one is the late model, has 6 bolts, 3 on each side, whereas the early models only had 4. Here's the other side. Perhaps it's a little easier to see. So there's our 3 for this side, and there's our nod, which is 45 degrees front and back, and it has 3 socket head cap screws on each side to run that. Okay, the way the head on an Excello is quite unique. It's different than a Bridgeport. It's not a knockoff. The way the power feed works and everything is a completely different mechanism than the Bridgeport. First of all, it has a full 6 inches of stroke on the quill. It also has a larger diameter quill right here. The diameter of the quill is bigger. And now the feed and the way you engage it is, this is your fine feed wheel here, and if you pull it out, it will engage it to feed down. If you push it in, it'll engage it to feed up, and then to engage the feed, it has a clutch mechanism, and it has a left-handed thread here on this big old nut, and if you can watch right here, you can see this is going in, and that will engage a clutch, and that is how you engage the feed and disengage the feed. So if it comes against a positive stop, it will not bind or anything. It'll just start to slip a little bit on the clutch. And also you have 3 different speeds of feed, which is pretty much standard on any milling machine. You have 1.5 over here, I believe it, what is it, 3 thousandths right here, 6 thousandths right here per revolution. So 3 different speeds on the feet. Of course, it has a variable speed head at 85 to 4,000 RPM on this particular machine. This machine has the 1800 RPM motor, and it also has the 1800 RPM motor has a higher end RPM here, which is 4,000. So this is sort of the Cadillac of the model. Another thing, here's our transmission, our high gear and low gear, or back gear and normal. It's in back gear right now, and right there it's in high. One thing that is hugely different than other Bridgeport machines is that when you switch from high gear to back gear, it does not change the direction of the spindle. So no matter what gear you're in, forward is always forward, reverse is always reverse, which is something that I really like. Also has round handles. instead of Bridgeport type handles, and I really like that as well. It has finger dimples in them, and so no matter where you grab the handle, you always have something to hang on to, so to speak, which I like that. So there's not much about these machines I don't like, if you can't already tell. The other thing I wanted to point out on this particular machine, the DROs, the scales are on completely wrong. I'm not quite sure why they did it this way, but the scale should be on the back of the table. And now I know why they put the crossfeed scale onto the on the left of the machine, if you're looking at it, is because of the power feed. You know, normally all the machines I've ever run, it didn't matter what make they were, the crossfeed scale was always on to the right of the knee, and of course you always put the x-axis scale on the back, so that way you can hang your work over the table if you ever need to. And for some reason they didn't do it that way, so I guess I'll be moving it when the need comes up for me to work with a piece off the front of the table. So, and I will probably take this power feed unit off. So I'm not again, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like the way it makes the x-axis handle feel, and it doesn't work anyway. And I've looked, I can't find anything on this. Perhaps some people will be smarter than me about this, but Seco Electronics is who this is made by. So I don't know. If you want a power feed, I suggest you probably contact me if you have one of these Excellos. And if you need parts or whatever, this would be that would make a good parts one probably. So let's fire it up. Like I said, this is my rotophase converter. It is a 3 horsepower unit. It's quite loud. It is plenty enough power though to run this machine. This machine is a horse and a half. So there we go. And the machine is very, very quiet. It's in great shape, and it's super smooth. Also, this machine, and this also was true for the machines that we had in our shop. They were very accurate machines and showed no wear after years and years of use. This machine is no different. This machine, from one end to the other on the table, has a difference of only 0.8 of a thousandths on the x-axis. Across some 3 feet of cranking, there's only 0.8 difference in it. And as well, for the cross slide only has about 0.4 of difference over the 16 inches of coverage that it has. So this machine is a really, really nice machine, and if you're looking for an older used Bridgeport type machine, if I were you, I would not discount the Excello. They are very nice machines. So there you have it, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.